tuned in to Elevated Talk. Now tuned in.
Peace. Peace and more peace, family. Peace and blessings. Peace and healing. Peace and strength. Peace and light. And for real. Peace and light, man. There's a lot of darkness. We gotta focus on the positive. But we have to focus on the positive. We don't disregard the darkness for its a reason. That's what we're gonna get into. But I don't want to go into a lore before we even get started. So, just peace, and more peace. My name is Mark Anthony. This is Elevated Talk, and you're tuning in to the Cosmic Show. All right. Thank you so much for joining me here. This past weekend, we moved into February. February. It's been Aquarius season for a little minute. Before I get into that, we're moving into February. And as we know, February is Melanated History Month, right? And so I just want to take a moment and honor all the beautiful leaders, the pioneers, who cultivated economic systems, who cultivated unified fronts, who cultivated peace, who cultivated new mindsets, who cultivated freedom. Y'all know their names. We're going to mention a few of them in this live too. I just want to take a moment for them. So, we moved into February. And how exactly we moved into February? We moved into it with a new moon in Aquarius, right? And that new moon in Aquarius was backed by the age of Aquarius, Pluto in Aquarius, and it being Aquarius season. Now, I am in Aquarius, so all those things that I just named, I've been feeling. And there wasn't any video on Friday due to the fact that it was just a lot going on in the world. And I just felt the call, and we had that new moon. I felt the call to just go into some inner reflection. I'm about to be 20 in the physical, and this year is really calling for something different, right? And so I had to sit with myself and ask myself, what is that difference? But then I also had to sit with myself and ask myself, how do I want to move? And so that's what I did this weekend. And what arose from that was the idea for this live. And y'all seen the title. And why I titled it this, and why we're doing this live, is because we have to understand the grounds that we're playing in. And what affect those grounds, and why what we see arise is arising. You see, because when a warrior goes into the battlefield, he knows his terrain. He knows his enemy, right? And that knowledge is related to knowing the spiritual cycles that we're in, to knowing the energy that we're in, and why we see what's manifesting into the physical, because behind that lies the Pluto energy of death and rebirth. Behind what we're seeing with technology advancing day by day. I just seen a video on Instagram of a dude from Australia, right? I think it was on 60 Minutes, interviewing a full-on AI robot, human face. Well, it was black, but it had human features, eyes going this way, all that type of stuff, right? And so we're seeing this destruction, but we're seeing this AI evolution. And it's very easy to get caught up on the surface level perspective of it. But if a person only has one vantage point, it leaves them blind to the other ways of viewing, or rather, it leaves them blind from viewing from a higher vantage point. And so that's why we're doing this live, okay? Now, if you've been joining us prior in the other videos, okay? If you've been joining us in the other videos, you have known, or rather heard of the mission. What is the mission exactly? The mission is to impact and inspire deeper realization within all beings. Now, when I say this, this really gives a lot of Captain Save-A-Ho energy. And when I say this, it doesn't mean that you're out here trying to notice everybody's habits and call them out on it, or notice everybody's, ick that they could fix and call them out on it, or, oh, you see this, let me call you, or it's not about that. It's about recognizing that we are each cells of earth. So by us choosing to do the healing, to gain the deeper realizations, to inspire ourselves, and then move in that authentic light, that authentic light will carry its own self. So that impact and that inspiration, it starts with self. That deeper realization, it starts with self. And you're at the right place, honestly. You're at the right place. Whenever you're seeing this, you are at the right place. Peace. You are at the right place. So, one thing they won't talk about is how the beautiful earth is raising its vibration, how the human resonance is active, how we've entered a solar cycle, and the sun's getting hotter and hotter. The solar flares are coming in at maximum levels. It's what they won't talk about. How that affects us both on a physical level and a spiritual level. They won't talk about it. But that's important right now, because I feel like some of the moves that have been made politically have been an attempt to gather more resources being money, to help fund an escape, to help fund a possible refuge for these oligarchies, right? That's all I'm gonna say about that, okay? And the reason why they may need to draw on these resources is because they understand that the inevitable has come. And the inevitable is nature. You see, Pluto being in Aquarius, it being the age of Aquarius, us being in the solar cycle, and I highly suggest anybody that's watching this right now, go look up what solar cycles are, right? Us getting hit with like maximum level solar flares, right? Then also Earth raising its vibration. It's like all aspects of nature are reaching its maximum point. And it's by no coincidence. You see, here's one thing that I do want to defud, okay? We hear Donald Trump talk about, oh, this is going to be the golden age, right? But he's relating that to the technological shifts, right? But the golden age is the return of consciousness. The golden age is the return of higher consciousness, of man remembering the spiritual beings that we are. And so how do we do that? How do we begin to remember, even through all of these headlines, media tactics, fear-mongering? And I don't say this at all to sound empathetic, because lives are actually being affected. People's jobs, people are going to work, they can't even get in. People are getting emails talking about, you don't need to come in no more. And so truthfully, this leaves a fire within me, because one is just deep gratitude that I have the ability and I have the support, love my parents, that I have the support to come up here and be able to speak to y'all. Because some people, they woke up today and they don't have that. They don't have that one family member that they used to have because they just got deported. Like, this shit is really happening. And it's easy to get emotionally attached. It's easy to go in fear right now. It's easy to feel like there's nothing that we can do, but that can't be far from the truth. If we look back in history, time and time again, we are shown by all of the leaders that we honor in this month, which really should be expanded for more than 1 month, right? We look back at what they did. Marcus Garvey, Fred Hampton, Harriet Tubman, MLK. We look back at what they did, what we did, because it wasn't just them. It was the people with them. I'm not even going to say behind them. It was the people with them. And it shows us what we can do when we are aligned behind a unified front. And so the question becomes, how do we begin to get there? How do we begin to change our mindsets? Because I could come to you and give you the best information in the world, but if your mindset isn't open or changed, those old programmings are going to drown out any ounce of new that comes in. And that's where it starts. That's why here on the channel, right? If you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe, right? As the new banner is telling you, right? Y'all fuck with the banner. Let me know if y'all fuck with the banner, okay? Let me know if y'all fuck with the banner, all right? New upgrades and shit, all right? That's why we've been focusing on elevated talk of opening the mind, right? Doing practices to open the mind, connecting with the higher realms. Because as I stated in the beginning, if we only see from one vantage point, the surface level vantage point that the media and all of those people want us to see from, then we will create the narrative that they want us to create because we're only seeing from a surface level. And so it's important right now that we understand the cycles that we're in and how they play a role in the decisions that are being made politically. Because all these moves, they're chess moves. They're chess moves. Each move has a ripple effect that we may not even be able to see, and that's purposeful. There's smoke screens that are being thrown out right now. And it's sad that they actually affect real people's lives. That they got to use certain things to distract us from what they're really doing. And so it just reverts back to the question. How do we begin to advance consciously? How do we begin to enter this conscious state in which we're capable enough to handle, one, the responsibility, but also the real power that we all hold? Because it's going to take each of us being in our power to really enact this shift. It's going to take each of us shifting where we're putting our time, money, and energy to really enact this shift. And so I just want to share my perspective on a few things. Might not resonate with everybody, and that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. It's okay. And so one thing, I was watching a Fred Hampton video, and he talked about solidarity. He talked about using our resources as a people to free the people, right? But one thing that went against that, or one thing that was a big opposition to that, was us fighting against each other. And so this brings me to the DEI thing. Diversity, equality, and inclusion. I know it affected a lot of people's lives. I know it affected a lot of people's lives. But I also feel like it might have been a smokescreen. And why I say that is because now it's got us looking at each other like, oh, these companies want to take black people's stuff out the store, not the white people. Oh, the white people benefited the most from it. What about the Mexicans? What about the blacks? And all of this stuff. And what this has done is I feel like it gets us forgetting that whether you black, white, Mexican, Asian, purple, red, we all living in the same system. There are white middle class people. There are black middle class people. There are white poor people. There are Latin poor people. There are also black rich people. Really, we all rich as fuck. We rich in spirit. See, we gonna stay physical though, right? But this is the type of mindset we have to really start seeing from, and not just letting this duality get us all caught up in fighting against each other. Because it's really understanding that it just goes to what I was saying, that there are melanated rich people, there are white rich people, there are Latin rich people, there are melanated middle class people, there are white middle class people, there are Latin middle class people, and going down on. So we're all operating in this same system. Now, I don't disregard our history, but a big thing in healing, which is needed, right? A big thing is healing is being able to look at our past, accept it, right? And that acceptance might come with some pain. It might bring up some pain, and we got to face that. Accept it. Learn the lesson from it. Take that lesson. Use it to build something new. And so now bring this macroly, right? Bringing this to the cycle that we are in right now. What we are seeing, the darkness that rises, the death that rises. It is a cycle that is ending. And what cycle is that? It is the capitalist system. The oppressor versus the oppressors. That cycle is ending. How can we tell? Or should we be telling? Is because all the red flags are starting to pop up. And they doing it right in front of our faces, man. And so it's on us, right? Think of this capitalist system like a karmic relationship, okay? It's a karmic relationship. They're showing us all the red flags. And right now, we have to be willing to face it. We have to be willing to face it in the sense that we played a part in it as a consumer, right? And so then asking ourselves, do we want to live like this? 1 to 2 men can sit down and have a conversation and millions of lives are uprooted like that? People's jobs are lost like that? Do we want to live like that? And so these things are rising to our collective awareness because it's on the news. It's being widespread. It's part of the reason why It's part of the reason why I feel Trump used tariffs as a bargaining chip to try to get China to sell TikTok. I don't know if it's official. It might have happened. I know I seen recently that China got hit with a 10% tariff, so it might have not worked. But why? Is because when a master wants to control the people, right? He needs the media. And they know the young people are not watching the news no more. They're on TikTok. That's where we get our news from. But here's the thing though. And shout out to all my youngins. Shout out to all my elders too. I genuinely feel like Gen Z, the millennials, like we not even falling for this shit no more. Like we dead ass not even falling for this shit anymore. That's just how I feel. Y'all let me know in the comments how y'all feel. But going to the DEI thing, we have to realize the fight is not against each other. The fight is not against each other. It's against these private corporations and their unethical practice. Because you want to know something? I won't support in none of these stores prior to even hearing about the DEI thing. Why? Because of what they've been doing to Earth. How they get their resources, right? Y'all know about Congo? Y'all hear about what's going on in Congo? How Congo is one of the richest countries in natural resources? Yet these big tech oligarchs are extraditing all of these natural resources, leaving them in tents and camps to power our Western society. You see, the fight is not against each other. It's against these people who are mistreating others, who are mistreating Earth. Because Earth has given us everything we need. But that greed, that consumerism, that want for more money, power, materialism, it's left us blind. It's left us blind. And now the consequences of that is rising right in front of our faces. And right now we have to be willing, as a people, to ask ourselves, if I don't want to continue to live like this, what do I have to do to change? And that change, it can start individually, right? It can start individually, right? New habits, new spending habits, right? If you are looking for more sustainable resources and a Black-owned app with Black-owned businesses ranging from clothing stores to grocery stores, check out the link in the bio, Elevated Social, scroll down and you'll see it. All right. Also, be sure to like this up, support, subscribe. I'll put like in the chat, bro. Like this up, get this out. Let's break the fucking algorithm. All right, let's break the algorithm, okay? This is where we have to start. Like I just dropped a video on Friday talking about the power of seeing the end in mind, right? Oh, I'm like, look at the chat, bro. Yo, chat, we cooking, bro. I had to change up the chat, make it thicker. We cooking, chat. Okay? We have to start asking ourselves these questions. We have to first understand that the fight is not against each other. Do not be fooled by these smoke screens. Right? Do not be fooled by these smoke screens. Because they'll drop a smoke screen, right? Get everybody caught up in that. Then they'll and this is exactly how it happened. Like, bro came in and signed 27 executive orders in one day. It's like being in Fortnite and a motherfucker just spamming them smoke bombs. Just spamming them. You don't even know where he's headed, what direction it is, because there's something new every day. And it's purposeful. Like, think about the emotional torment that's going on with someone who is probably watching the news every day. Something new every day. This is what I mean. They want us in fear. They want us razzle-dazzled. But that's only if you're seeing from a surface level. Because one, if you would have been tapping in with the videos, right? You would have known we've been in this age of Aquarius. You would have known that by connecting with the higher realms, meditating, healing, opening the mind, right? It allows us to see clearly. It allows us to have that discernment, because that discernment is necessary right now, so that we are not fooled by these smoke screens, so that we don't get up here and start having very, I can't think of the word that I'm looking for, and start having just conversations that aren't, I mean, nah, I don't want to hate. No hate, no hating, no hating. But I say that all to say because right now is the need to tap in. Something hit me recently, and it's really just the energy in the air. I've been having a lot of similar experiences, or rather similar feelings and realizations that I did when I first started to awaken. And for me, how I live my experience in my life is I take those as messages, right? Whether it's the wind blowing and I catch a certain smell of, my childhood, or I'm listening to a music that brings me back, or I catch a message or a synchronization that makes me think of the time where I was going through my dark night of the soul, right? It's certain feelings and blissful moments that give that realization to me. And why I bring that up is because I feel like we're literally watching one of the greatest awakenings happening right now. And we're just gonna take that as confirmation for real. We're just gonna take that as confirmation. Somebody riding out there for real. We're literally watching one of the greatest awakenings right now. And I relate this to the micro and the macro, right? So microly, when you start your journey, it's uncomfortable, right? And for anybody that's looking to start their journey, I'll save that lore after I make this, okay? When you're really like doing the healing, which earth raising its vibration is doing, that's healing, okay? Right? When you're really doing the healing, you're confronting the darkness. You're confronting those things. You're having those realizations. You're becoming aware of the habits. And so that's microly. So then macroly, look at what's happening. The dark tactics are rising to our awareness. The death is rising to our awareness, right? The habits of our consumerism and the consequences of that we might not have known, that we now know, right? That we now know is rising. And so with this rising, we're left with a choice. We're left with the choice to evolve or repeat. But here's the thing, they don't want us to evolve, so they're going to continue to throw the same things. They're going to continue to give us little news things to send us into conspiracies, right? Just know that whatever we see happening in the world, there is a spiritual purpose behind it all. This might rock a few feathers, but everything is perfect. And that takes deep understanding. One that if y'all really want, I'll go into a video about. Let me know in the comments. But everything is perfect. And what I mean by that is because nature does not make mistakes. So whatever Earth has planned, it's going to take place. But man wants to fight that. And so we have to be willing not to fight with each other and understand what the real mission is, right? The mission is freedom. That starts in the mind. And so this is what I mean by smoke screens, right? We're just going to keep it pushing, okay? We're going to keep it pushing. I appreciate y'all for being here. Appreciate y'all for sticking with me on this lore. And y'all let me know if y'all have any topics y'all want me to talk about. genuinely though, if you are looking to dive into healing, if you are looking at whether you're intermediate, just beginning, you don't know anything about spirituality, or you know a little bit of something, or you done reached fucking enlightenment, right? If you reached enlightenment, you might not need this. um, but seriously, if you are looking for that healing, I cultivated and created a divine chakra course as what I use to help me evolve, to help me release my karmic cycles, to help me heal my inner child wounds. Going through the chakras is going through the aspects of self that are still holding on to past paradigms, and they act as energy wheels and portals of self that power our very daily habits, our daily conscious states, and things of that nature. So when we go through each one, we are facing the trauma and the past karmic cycles that are rooted in each one to help us fully embody our divine mission here on earth, right? So if you're looking for that, check out the Elevated Socials link down below, and then scroll down to Awakening Starter Pack, and you'll see the chakra course down there. Okay. So these cycles, right? These cycles that we're in right now, they're the real reason why we're seeing these things happening, right? So we understand that, right? The spiritual cycles are, and the things that we're seeing right now are physical manifestation of the energy of these cycles, the innovation in finance, crypto on the rise, right? The innovation in our mindset, our collective innovation, right? I seen a brother, I believe his Instagram is nature's jab. I'm gonna type it in the chat so I can go check him out. Nature's jab. I seen a brother, he made a whole machine that could turn plastic into gasoline fuel to fuel your car. Gang, what? Come on. Come on. We are creators. We are creators. We are creators. We are creators. Say it with me. Say it with me. We are creators. But this world wants us dependent on the artificialness, the artificial ingredients, right? Artificial information, artificial intelligence, right? It's no hate. I should. If you know, you know. Them prompts be coming in clutch, okay? But if we become too dependent on technology and continue to use it to only consume, then technology will eventually consume us. I'll say it one more time. If we become too dependent on technology and only use it to consume, then technology will eventually consume us. I'm split at two ends on where to go with this. If y'all remember the movie WALL-E, if y'all remember the movie WALL-E, right? Let's just lay out the events of WALL-E, okay? In WALL-E, there was a robot who lived on Earth collecting trash. An Earth that was left behind by the people because they had made it unlivable. How? Through consumption, right? They disregarded the beauty that nature left them and consumed it, right? So that robot was then met by another robot that came from a ship. And on that ship was a group of obese people fully dependent on technology. They didn't have to get up. Everything was artificial. The beach was artificial. The food was artificial. Robots was cleaning up for them, so they didn't have to do no cleaning. They basically stopped thinking because all the technology was thinking for them. So where did that lead them? To get fat and depend on technology all day, every day. And so as Wally came along, right? He falls in love. And as he falls in love with the robot, Eve, they have to save that ship from an evil AI. Okay? Why do I bring this up? Because I feel the war will not be missiles and gunfires, but it will be equivalent to the space race. But instead of the space race, it's going to be the AI race, right? Y'all hear about that $500 billion budget that's used for Project Stargate? Right? Y'all also hear about the AI DeepSeek, how it only took 6 mil supposedly to build an open source AI that's supposedly way better than open AI. And obviously that's a business tactic, right? They made it seem better. They're much cheaper, right? I forgot what other business did this, but it's a business tactic, right? We also seen Donald Trump sign an executive order trying to make the America, US, the #1 capital for crypto and technology, right? But if a other country that we're supposedly, equal to, not equal to, can build an AI in, I don't know how long it took, but they used only $6 million. What the fuck? You need $500 billion for? What are you building? Huh? What are you building? Then this nigga, I don't mean to call him a nigga, my bad. This guy declares a national emergency on energy, okay? And like I said, business perspective, right? The plug we usually get our re-ups from, right? Country that starts with the R. They not fucking with us right now. So he like, let me think ahead. Like I said, all these moves are chess pieces. Why and why I bring any politics up is because, look, I'm gonna stay where I'm at, right? Okay. The plug that we usually get our oil from and things like that for energy and stuff like that, they're not fucking with us, right? But I was looking into it, and by him declaring a national emergency on energy, what he can do is say, look, we have a national emergency on energy, so I'm going to need to come into this forest, I'm going to need to come into this park, I'm going to need to come into this housed area, and we see that there's oil down there, so we're going to put a oil plant right here. And there was a video I seen on TikTok of this guy explaining let me see. My monitor died on me, so I don't no longer.
TikTok is a huge national security concern.
Hold
I
up.
can't think of a potentially more powerful.
I think one of the more under
All right, look, don't at me. My monitor just straight up died on me, so I'm using one screen to do all of this. But I appreciate your patience. We're gonna watch this real quick and then we'll talk about it.
reported and insane things that Trump has done is declared an energy emergency. And this is sketchy to me for one really simple reason. That's gas is like below $3, at least in New England where I am. And I mean, obviously, I'd always love gas to be cheaper, wouldn't we all? But it's not exactly an emergency. You know, the U.S. is literally producing more oil than we ever have. Thanks, Joe Biden. And, you know, there's not really like a huge need for more gas. I don't think too many people thought that was, you know, an emergency in the way that maybe housing is. But anyway, so Trump declares this energy emergency. And it's so sketchy because I don't really know what the rules are, but clearly it's not an emergency. So why is he doing it? And even if he was to drill a bunch of gas, you know, that would actually be bad for a lot of the gas companies because they don't want to have a bunch of new supply hitting the market and then driving down the cost of gas. I mean, for OPEC and those countries, they want to, you know, control their supply. They don't want the U.S. pumping a bunch more oil. And maybe that's what it's about, is sticking it to OPEC. But I think there's something else there. I think he wants to use, and if you look at the way that the emergency was written, they want to use, you know, the government to literally like eminent domain and potentially just like mess with communities in blue states, you know, California and you know, parts of New England. I think that they're potentially going to use that as an excuse to just say, hey, we need to put an oil refinery right here in your beautiful, pristine little park. And I hope that's not what happens because I've got a very lovely area that I walk in called Adams Point. That's an awesome part of New Hampshire. And they almost tried to put an oil refinery in there in the 70s. And these people fought and fought and fought, and they stopped them from doing it. And had they done that, this lovely park that I go and walk in would not be there, of course. It'd be an oil refinery, and this whole area would be completely different. And I just worry that they're going to attempt to try to bring that sort of stuff back as just to punish the blue states for our lack of loyalty.
Okay, so I want to propose a spiritual perspective on this. Okay, so we broke it down. I mean, gas ain't all that high, right? If he was to drill more gas, it would create more supply, which if you got more supply, then you know, supply and demand. It's basic business, right? What if the drilling is almost used for two things? Okay, to somehow they could choose specific spots that are maybe hold energetic frequency powers, right? I forget the name of it. I haven't studied this a lot, but there are certain areas in Earth that hold, they almost like there's like an energetic grid that hold a lot of energy, right? I almost feel like me saying this, if they haven't thought about it, then like the ops finna like go and do this, and I'm like giving them the free game. Listen, if you caught where I was going with that, you caught where I was going with that. Okay, that's one. Secondly, if y'all have seen the new Hulu Paradise conspiracy movie, or not movie, it's a series. What if they're starting that and they just need an excuse to start drilling holes? If you know, you know. Okay? And this low key, and I had this thought too. This low key gets me into like really being careful about what you're watching right now, because we are in potent times, and whatever we see in our mind and we constantly think about, it becomes our reality. So they could be purposely putting out these dystopian ass uh, headlines, shows, all of that, so that we can start to create this reality, right? But by universal law, they have to tell us exactly what they're doing. So they could deadass be telling us like, look, bro, some shit is coming. We're doing this. Fuck y'all. They're literally telling us what type of time they're on. They are literally telling us what type of time we're on, what type of time they're on. So what type of time do we want to be on, right? To anybody watching this right now, you gonna shop at Target? Hmm? We have to be willing to see from a spiritual perspective, not disregarding the actual physical effects that this cycle is having. Because we're also, and I didn't mention this in the beginning, we're in the year of the nine. It's also known as the year of the snake, which there's deeper lore behind that. And what this means is a crave for deeper intellect, a crave for deeper understanding, healing, knowing is on the rise. But all those things take being willing to observe, learn, put that learning into action, evolve, and repeat. And each time you repeat, it's something new. It's the infinite sign. It's the loop. It comes back, it goes, comes back, it goes. And so grounding this into the physical, the events that we're seeing taking place, they're horrific. But they need to rise to our awareness so that we can see how our habits of consumerism are affecting other countries. these other things that are arising, they need to arise to show us how the system of capitalism has affected many people. We need to understand the mental tactics and not fall for them. And that happens by raising our awareness, connecting with the higher realms, talking to our ancestors, studying, right? What are you good at? What can you do with your hands? What can you do with your mind? Right? Our only resource is not just money. There are so many other resources out there than just money. You have a car, right? Maybe you got kids, and maybe a sister down the road just lost her job and she needs an extra income. Instead of paying for daycare, talk to the sister, get to know her. Maybe she can take care of your kids, right? Maybe not necessarily. I don't know about that. I'm not gonna say that. I know housing, education, healthcare system, they're all big things. But I think it's important not to overlook what we could be doing right now. There are plenty of resources and volunteer opportunities, organizations that give free food, right? We just gotta be willing to do the research, man. Crypto is going to be the future. I've talked about it a couple times. I mainly talk about it over on Instagram and TikTok too, right? Which, if you are serious, I'm gonna say this, serious inquiries only. If you are serious about the change mentioned in this live, hit me up on Instagram. I got a gift for you. The resources are out here. They're right here. They are right here. See, I can use this phone to watch Pornhub, or I can use this phone to build a business. I can use the phone to text divine feminines all the live long day, or I can use this phone to build a brand. I can use this phone. Oh shit, hold up. What's my goddamn FaceTime? I can use this phone to doom scroll, or I can use this phone to start a movement. You see, the resources are right here. The information is right here. Crypto is literally acting as this divine, even level playing field to build the same level of wealth as the person who invested in Apple back in 2008. And that's no exaggeration. See, the person that invested in Apple back in 2008, he just had the knowledge. They just had the knowledge. And why? Because they chose to use their resources to get in the know. We can't only use our resources to consume and watch the news and expect anything different. We have to be willing to use our resources to create, to study, to build, and then consume. Because it's the give and take, man. It's the give and take. It's the ebb and flow. It's the ebb and flow. The ebb and the flow. Chat, if we're cooking, drop some hearts in the chat. Drop some love in the chat, okay? Man. I'm excited, but I'm focused. And that's really I feel like the perfect combination. I appreciate each and every single one of you. If you watching this live and you was here back in the Mindful Munchies days, hit me up on Instagram. I got a gift for you. I got a gift for you. If you're serious about change, hit me up on Instagram. I got a gift for you. It's only upgrades, bro. It's 2025, man. Got things cooking. And y'all can start to tell I'm not putting everything into these lives, right? Because I mentioned the warrior metaphor earlier, like in the beginning of the live, because this is really the type of mindset that we have to embody right now. Because I genuinely feel like think about it, we're only in February. And everything that's going on, there's a lot of uncertainty, and it could evolve in a lot of ways. And this is where the knowing of self, the guidance of the higher realms comes into play. Because they want uncertainty. They want you to feel like you don't know what the fuck is gonna happen. But if you're tapped in, if you're seeing from a high vantage point, then you know exactly what's gonna happen. You can listen to this live and put all the pieces together. Right? You can listen to this live and be like, damn, check. I'm shedding. I got my go bag. I got my garden. Got my assets in crypto. Talking to the people in my hometown about the same thing. Check. And don't feel no type of way if those boxes are not checked. This is what I mean. If you watching this live, you got life, right? You got life and you got will, so you can start directing your energy towards doing that, right? I turned 20 February 11th. 7 days from now. This year finna be one to remember. It's technically not the new year yet, so chill, chat, chill. Look, chat, chill. I'm really fucking with this. I like the new. I'm glad I did that. Okay. That's my lore. That's my spiel. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Mark Anthony. I go by Mark Anthony Inspires on all platforms except for this one. This one's Elevated Talk. Welcome to the Cosmic Show. Okay. Everything I mentioned in this live can be found at the Elevated Socials. I really need to think of a better name to kind of encompass everything that is. Because it's not just socials. It's really like you guys can support me there too. Right? You guys can support by subbing. We're so, bro. It's not even about the fucking numbers, bro. It's really about the impact, my nigga. It's really about the impact, bro. It's not even about the numbers. It's really about the impact. But we are close as fuck to 1,000. Like, come on, gang. Come on, bro. Close as fuck. But it's been a journey. And I genuinely feel everything that has happened in your life has prepared you for this moment, this year, okay? This year is our year. And every year prior to that has been our year. So ain't shit changed but the lessons and the evolution, okay? So let's fucking go. Okay? Let's fucking go. If you stayed all the way to the end of this video, hit me up on Instagram. I got a gift for you. Damn. Y'all can wait. Can y'all see? No, I don't think they can see this blue line. I hope not. It's your boy Mark Anthony, standing with you here in the physical and in the astral. Let's get this shift. And remember, freedom has always been an option. I'm going to put that on a shirt pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. Much love. And share this with your mom, okay? Okay?